Howdy, boys and girls. Welcome back to Mr. Herring's online 5th grade math lessons. Today we are continuing our measurement unit. We'll focus on the metric system today. All week we've been working with the customary side. Today we're going to start with the metric side. So our objective today you will be learning how to solve problems by calculating conversions in the metric system. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So here's a picture of the star chart that is in your journal. You glued in your journal. Today we are focusing on the metric side. So metric length, metric volume, and metric mass. We have kilometers, and there are 1,000 meters in a kilometer. We have a meter. There are 100 centimeters in a meter. There's a centimeter, 10 millimeters in a centimeter. We have volume and capacity. We have a liter, which is equal to 1,000 milliliters. And then we have metric mass. We have 1 kilogram, which is equal to 1,000 grams, and 1 gram, which is equal to 1,000 milligrams. Okay? And these are the only units that you have to learn in 5th grade. Later on, you may learn about some other units, but today we're only focusing on the ones that we have to learn. So in the metric length units, a kilometer, which is 1,000 meters, is just over a half of a mile. So a kilometer, which is 1,000 meters, is just over a half a mile. A meter, which is 1,000 millimeters, would be something you'd measure from the floor to the doorknob, which is much like a yard. And then a centimeter, which is 10 millimeters, which is like the width of your pinky finger. It's pretty small. And then a millimeter, which is 1/10 of a centimeter, is the thickness of a credit card or like a toothpick. So it's really, really small. Okay? In mass, we have a gram, which is 1,000 milligrams. And when I think about milligrams, I think of medicine. Usually all medicines are measured in milligrams. So a tiny pill like a Tylenol, which you might take for a headache, has 200 milligrams of medicine in it. So 200 milligrams fits in that little bitty pill. That tells you that milligrams are really tiny. A gram is kind of like the size of an M&M candy. And 1,000 milligrams is equal to 1 kilogram. And a kilogram is kind of like a football, a little less than a football. The most common units of measure in mass are just grams and kilograms. So a gram is really light. A paper clip, a pen lid, a piece of chewing gum, all those might be equal to a gram. Where a kilogram is quite a bit larger. There are 1,000 of these grams in a kilogram. So a liter of milk, a carton of milk, maybe 2 loaves of bread, or a few apples would equal to a kilogram. Okay? A milligram is like a grain of sugar, really, really tiny. A gram is like a small paper clip, and a kilogram is like one of our textbooks. Okay? And then we have capacity, which is usually talking about volume. Capacity, we have 2 units. We have a liter and a milliliter. There are 1,000 milliliters in a liter. If you go to the store and buy the mid-sized soda water bottle, you have 1,000 milliliters. If you go to the convenience store and buy a 20 ounce has about 250 milliliters. So let's see what this looks like. Hopefully you remember when we were dividing by 10, multiplying by 10. I told you that when we multiply by 10, we're just moving the decimal one place to the right, making the number bigger. When we divide by 10, we move the decimal to the left to make the number smaller. So we multiply by 10, we move to the right. We divide by 10, we move to the left. And we move that direction the number of zeros that we are dividing by. Okay? So if I multiply 1 times 75 hundredths, the number doesn't change. If I multiply by 10, the decimal moves one place to the right. If I multiply by 100, the decimal moves 2 places to the right. I multiply by 1,000, the decimal moves 3 places to the right. Now notice here, I had to make room for a 0. And then we divided by 10. 560 divided by 1 is the same number, 560. But if I divide by 10, I move the decimal one place to the left. So notice the number got smaller. I went from 560, the decimal's here, one place to the left. If I divide by 100, we move it two places to the left, and the number is even smaller. Divide by 1,000, three places to the left, 1, 2, 3, and it's even smaller. So think about that here in the middle. We have meters, liters, and grams. This direction, we're dividing by. This direction, we're multiplying. Okay? And this tells us our decimal starts here, and we move it one direction or the other to make the number bigger or smaller. Just remember, multiplying makes the number bigger, dividing makes the number smaller. All right, let's try this. We'll try this using the big small method like we've done all week. So I have 4,250 centimeters is equal to how many meters? Well, centimeters are small, meters are big. So I'm looking for a small number. How do I find a small number? We divide. So I got to ask myself, how many centimeters are in 1 meter? And if you look at your star chart, it tells me that there are 100 centimeters in a meter. So I'm dividing by 100. I move the decimal two places to the left. It's here, 1, 2. So it turns into 42 and 5/10 or 50 hundredths. No math, we're just moving the decimal. Okay? We don't learn about decigrams, so we're going to skip this one. So now let's look at kilometers and meters. Now we want to compare them. Which one is bigger? So I've told you we take the larger unit and turn it into the smaller unit because we want to multiply. So I want to know how many meters are in 6 kilometers. So I rewrite my problem. 6 kilometers equals how many meters? Kilometers are big, meters are small. When I do it this way, I'm always going to multiply. How many meters are in a kilometer? If you look at your star chart, the answer to that question is 1,000. So here I'm multiplying by 1,000. I'm going to take the number 6 and move the decimal 3 places. So 1, 2, 3. Make room for 3 zeros. So my answer is 6,000. Okay? We don't do centiliters, so we're not going to do this problem either. Those are the two methods for finding equal conversions, equal units, and comparing. In this problem, 6,000 is smaller than 660. I changed this to 6,000 meters. Okay? So let's do some practice here. 168 milliliters is equal to how many liters? Liters are big, milliliters are small. I'm looking for a small number. How do I find a small number? We divide. How many milliliters are in a liter? The answer is 1,000. So I'm taking 168 and moving the decimal 3 places. 1, 2, 3. So it becomes 168 thousandths of a liter. "28 millimeters is equal to how many centimeters? Millimeters are small, centimeters are big. I'm looking for a small number. How do I find a small number? We divide. How many millimeters are equal to a centimeter? There are 10 millimeters in a centimeter, so I'm dividing by 10. So I move the decimal 1 place to the left to make the number smaller, 2.8. Again, no math, we're just moving the decimal. Okay, 2a, 107 millimeters is equal to how many centimeters? Again, centimeters are big, millimeters are small, so I'm looking for a small number. How do I find a small number? We divide. How many millimeters are in a centimeter? The answer is 10. So we move the decimal 1 place for 1 0. So 10 and 7/10. Next one, we have 815 centimeters is equal to how many meters? Meters are big, centimeters are small. So I'm looking for a small number again. I'm dividing. There are 10 centimeters. 100 centimeters in a meter. So move the decimal 2 places. 1, 2. So 8 decimal 15. 8 and 15 hundredths. Okay, 3a. Kilograms and grams. Kilograms are bigger, grams are smaller. This time, we're looking for a bigger number. So we multiply. How many grams are in a kilogram? The answer to that question is 1,000. So I move my decimal 3 places to the right. So I have decimal 4, 1, 2, 3. I make room for 2 zeros. The answer would be 400. 3b, I have kilograms and grams. Again, kilograms are big, grams are small. I'm looking for a big number. So we're going to multiply. There are 1,000 grams in a kilogram. So I have 3 and 3. I move it 3 zeros, so 1, 2, 3. I make room for 2 zeros. The answer is 3,300. Now we have meters to centimeters. Meters are big, centimeters are small. Looking for a big number. How do I find a big number? How many centimeters in a meter? There are 100 centimeters in a meter. So 1 and decimal 1 and 5 tenths. Move it 2 places. 1, 2 to the right to make the number bigger. 150 centimeters. Just some more room down here. Grams to kilograms. Kilograms are big, grams are small. So I'm looking for a small number. I find a small number by dividing. How many grams in a kilogram? The answer is 1,000. So I'm taking 11,149 and moving the decimal 3 places to the left to make it smaller. 1, 2, 3. So 11 and 149 thousandths of a kilogram. Again, guys, the strategy does not change. The only thing that's different here is we're dividing and multiplying by tens, hundreds, and thousands. Nothing else changes. There's no math really involved. We're just moving the decimal. All right? I wish you guys the best of luck. Watch the video again if you need to. You can come and see me for help. I'll be available. Okay? Good luck. We'll see you guys.